If you don't know who Kei Urana is, chances are you will very soon. To put it lightly, Kei Urana is one of the most talented authors in modern day manga. Her series, Gachiakuta, by the way, yes, it is Gachiakuta. I've been calling it Gachiakuta this entire time, and quite frankly, I feel like a huge idiot. I've only ever seen the word written, okay? Has received wide acclaim and is now one of the most anticipated anime adaptations of 2025. Urana has been praised for her skills by both fans and mangaka alike. She went from being a massive fan of Soul Eater as a kid to eventually being recognized by Soul Eater's creator as his official successor. At Weekly Shonen Magazine, the new series by Kei Urana has started. This is someone who loved Soul Eater since they were a child. Urana is my legitimate successor who has already surpassed me. If you like my manga, you should definitely like this one too. Check it out, it's seriously cool. I'm already defeated. That is some incredibly high praise, and she's earned every bit of it. And I can hear what some of you might be saying right now. Well, I've never heard of her. What makes her so special? And oh boy, I'm so glad you asked. We first need to rewind the clock back all the way to the mid-2000s, right in the middle of Studio Bones' rise to prominence, one of Kei Urana's favorite animation studios. When I was little, I used to sit in front of the TV eagerly waiting for my favorite anime shows to come on. And as that little kid, I used to dream about one day having my own manga turned into an anime by Bones, a studio I love. By the way, might I just say excellent taste, as Bones is also my favorite studio, except for that one time. But you know, no one lives forever, and I don't know how much of my life I want to spend talking about Metallic Rouge, so we're just gonna ignore that. This love of anime would carry over to her high school years, and it was during this time that she finally decided that she wanted to be a mangaka. Now, something very interesting about her is that despite the fact that she very much goes against the grain of what you'd expect from a typical mangaka, i.e. she, you know, actually shows her face on camera, scandalous, I know, there isn't really a lot of information on her life before she was a mangaka or how she even got into the industry. That being said, what we do know is that leading up to her entry within the manga industry, she would upload art to her Twitter fairly consistently. And it's here that not only can we see some prototypes for characters that would eventually show up in Gachiakuta, but also just how ridiculously good her art was. It's clear that she was very much inspired by Soul Eater, but at the same time, it's very unique to her. But we'll save the art analysis for later. All you need to know is that before she had even drawn a manga, she was basically already a master. Okay, but you know, being a good artist and telling a good story aren't the same thing. Your art doesn't matter if no one likes your just let me finish, okay? Let me finish. I think one of the craziest things about Kei Urana as an author is that prior to her serialized manga debut, she had actually worked on two one-shot stories, Nokase and Shikido, both of which would go on to win awards, with Nokase winning Weekly Shonen Magazine's 2018 Manga Grand Prix and Shikido winning the 103rd Weekly Shonen Magazine Newcomer Rookie Award. Right off the bat, her work in manga was being praised, and this is undoubtedly what led to Urana's first childhood dream coming to fruition, getting to work with Atsushi Okubo on his latest manga, Fire Force. I can only imagine the sheer joy she felt in this moment. Just imagine having someone you've looked up to your entire life, who created what you consider a pillar of your childhood, seeing your work and thinking that you're good enough to work with them. I imagine it would be utterly mind-blowing, but also very, very stressful. Because at that point, you are working on a decently large IP, and you do not want to be the weak link in that scenario. Despite this, however, Urana would serve as Okubo's assistant for a number of years, honing her skills and learning everything she could from him. And eventually, as we already know, would even surpass him, at least according to Okubo himself. And, you know, considering he created Soul Eater and Fire Force, I'm pretty confident his opinion is one worth listening to. That being said, Urana couldn't just assist on Okubo's work forever. She needed to do something that was her own thing. And it's here that we finally witness the birth of Gachiakuta. Gachiakuta was actually born from a very simple idea. The idea that even trash has value. It's clear that Urana wanted to tell a story about the trash we discard, whether it's the soda can that you just threw into the trash 10 minutes ago, or the individuals in society that are deemed worthless. Not unlike the main protagonist, Rudo, who is chucked into the abyss by those higher in society than him. And that is just so punk rock of her, which, you know, is fitting considering how punk rock she looks. One of the core elements of Gachiakuta's story is the idea of jinki, or vital instruments, essentially pieces of junk that to most people probably wouldn't mean much, but carry essential value to those who own them. I won't dive deep into this to save on time, but in Gachiakuta, inanimate objects can be imbued with the power of thought and emotions from those that cherish and value these objects, and thus can be turned into insane weapons. In
the past, I broke a pin that I was holding on to in anger. I cried a lot then because I was very attached to it. From there, I thought to deal with value, objects, and broken things. And that's how Gachiakuta was born.
This simple childhood story composes the entire soul of Gachiakuta, to the point that Urana's broken pin is even referenced in the first panel of the manga, Urana's own beloved piece of trash. When she created this manga, having a distinctly trashy look was something she prioritized, using the slums from Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind as one of her inspirations. And I have to say, I don't think she could have picked a better theme or premise to complement her absolutely insane art style. Something that's really apparent about Urana's work is how much she's able to make her characters stand out. I've said this a few times before, but it really is a skill to make something kind of grimy, unsightly, and even unhinged, but also appealing to look at the same time. And she's gotten so good at this that, according to her, it's just natural for her at this point.
I create them to be decent people, but then I actually draw them, and for some reason they turn out to be freaky weirdos. I've given up, realizing that this is who they truly are.
One of Urana's biggest strengths is the sheer amount of emotion she's able to get her characters to express. Whether it's joy, disgust, anger, or excitement, her characters' faces absolutely explode with emotion. And it makes it so easy to not only understand what that character is going through, but empathize with them. I think that for a lot of anime, capturing realism and nuance is a priority. And that's not to say that this isn't a valid strategy, but at the same time, these are drawings, 2D representations of people. When you're able to just let loose like this, it can really leave an impression. And this is only accentuated with the method she actually uses to draw, with very bold, messy, sketchy lines. And Urana is able to achieve this look because, according to her, she predominantly draws using paper.
鉛筆で描いてみたり、筆ペンで劇画みたいな感じでしてみたり。デジタルの方ができる幅も結構多いんですけど、デジタルの筆圧検知では検知できないところまで表現してくれるのがアナログだと思うので、ここは魂込めたいなってところはアナログでしっかり描くようにしてます。どうしてもここはなんか古めかしい場所にしたいなみたいな時とかは和紙みたいなやつをビリビリって破いたりして貼っつけてコラージュっぽくしたりしていろんな試みはしてみてますね。
This practice of analog drawing is also something that Japanese graffiti artist Hideyoshi Ando employs, who designs all the graffiti art for Gachiakuta. And it's with Ando's graffiti along with Urana's stunning character designs and art style that brings this entire world and all these characters to life. And it makes this manga its own unique thing and has led to Gachiakuta being praised by critics, with the series even being nominated for and winning awards. For instance, Gachiakuta won the Global Award at the 2022 Next Manga Awards. And this was before it even had an English translation. Gachiakuta wins awards from vibes alone. And this is exactly why Studio Bones simply couldn't ignore it. So this July, next month actually, at the time of this video, the Gachiakuta anime by Studio Bones will finally be airing. And thus, Kei Urana's ultimate childhood dream has finally come to fruition. And all I have to say to that is, that's awesome. The manga industry is harsh, cruel, and anything but predictable. So to see someone who truly stuck by her passion and is now experiencing it pay off in the biggest way she can imagine, it's just so inspirational. And so really all I have to say is, if you like big fleshed out worlds, cool characters, awesome art, sick action, this shonen is for you. It's so clear how much love, care, and hard freaking work this person has put into the story, world, and characters. Even going on record saying that at times, she's even worked 24-hour days to fully realize it. She deserves to have her story seen by the entire world. So this July, do yourself a massive favor and watch Gachiakuta. Wait, no, Gachiakuta. Gachiakuta! God, I thought I had it!